How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to episode number 25 of the Seattle Kraken franchise mode here on NHL 22, moving into the second half of the 2026-27 regular season. In the last one, we went through the first 41 games of the year. We haven't been great down the stretch. In the last episode, we went 4-5-1 in our last 10 games, but in the Pacific Division, we currently sit third with 50 points, a game in hand on the Sharks above us, but 2 games in hand the Oilers have on us, who are 9 points ahead of us. The three of the strongest teams in the league all coming from our division, pretty much the Atlantic and the Pacific, who are just doing everything out there, as top spot in the Central would put you in 45 would put you in 6th in the Pacific. So just to put that in perspective. All that to say, things are going okay with our top dogs for sure. Nathan MacKinnon, 55 points through 41 games, the reigning Hart Trophy Art Ross winner at the age of 31. He is still doing fine, no problemo. Marco, Beniers, I'll stop there. Marco and Beniers all doing great. But after that, Alex Tuch, who's also on the first line, not bad at all, but just not quite at the pace of his line mates, MacKinnon and Marco. Trocheck on that third line, Schwartz, Tarasenko's on pace to not even hit 20 goals, now at the age of 35, only 22 points on the year, 86 overall. So we've been having some struggles trying to balance how much ice time do we give to our veterans, the guys that we've been able to put our trust in the last 2 Stanley Cup victories, and then also balance rookies like Chris Moss, who had 13 goals in his rookie season, younger players like Dawson Mercer, who's only getting 9 minutes and 12 seconds a night, Vitaly Popov, who's only getting 11:46, Rosen, who's only getting 10, guys like that who need to have ice time if they're going to grow. At the same time, we've been having struggles defensively. Our starting goaltender, Peyton Wilm, is out for the next couple of months, so it's a lot of things not going super right at the same time. So you know what happens when we have some questions like that? It means we gotta dive into the comments and check out what the assistant GMs have to say. And in the last one, we had some fantastic comments. I'm gonna start it off, I think, with the comment that really spoke to me the most before I get into some of the other ones. This is the comment that I'm gonna base a lot of what we do today off of. That comment's coming from Old Man Sports himself, Mr. Patrick Sully, who says, "Change those lines back, Data," meaning the lines we had at the beginning of the season, which had Schwartz and Moss inverted, and I believe Popov and Rosen swapped there. So we were 14-8 with those lines, and 9-10 since making those changes. Now we have none of Moss, Popov, and Rosen on the second line or within the top 6. Things fell off course for a quarter season, not the end of the world. At this point, I would either move the lines back to the start or drop Schwartz to the 4th line when all forwards are healthy to ensure that Popov, Moss, and Rosen all develop. Schwartz is a luxury who can move up in the playoffs, but he's likely gone in the offseason due to cost and regression. Those other 3 can be part of this team for the next decade if these key seasons they are given proper opportunity. That was like, print that out, put it above my bed, tattoo it to my forehead. Great quote there from Pat, really well said and opened my eyes a little bit. I say trade Suzuki for future picks and stay the course after adjusting the lines. You still have a cushion. You don't need another goalie. Wilm will be back for the stretch run and playoffs. Everything between now and March 11th, when Wilm comes back from injury, can be trying different prospective line combos for the next few seasons and getting the 3 studs enough ice time. I would love to see Tuch, Mac, Marco on the first line, Rosen, Beniers, Moss on the second, because Rosen's a great playmaker, so is Popov. Third line, Popov, Trocheck, Tarasenko, who drops down, and Schwartz, Gambrel, Mercer. So that means we now think of Schwartz as a luxury. 9 goals, 16 assists this year. We pretty much brought him back just for his playoff performances as the first cup, point per game 23 and 23, and our second cup last year 17 and 22. We're going to basically drop Schwartz and Tarasenko in the lineup a little bit, and then in the playoffs hope that moving them up the lineup will allow, the poise, the veteran presence, the leadership and all that will allow them to really go off. But now during the regular season, we're going to give the young guys more opportunities and go from there. So Moss, Beniers, and Rosen gets a +3. Schwartz, Trocheck, Tarasenko gets a +3. Doesn't get much better than that. Beniers being a solid centerman for that line. Hopefully Moss and Rosen take advantage of that. Moss has the 5-star shooting. Rosane's a great puck mover. He has 4-star puck skills and 89 passing. I wouldn't mind swapping him with Popov, though, if that works out. The chemistry goes down to a +1, but Popov does have, if the menu cannot be so sticky, 99 passing. 82 overall medium elite versus Rosane, who is 81 overall medium top 6. I'm going to try both of them on that second line. I'm not going to keep one on the second and another one buried. I'm going to give both opportunities. So all that being said, moving into the next comments, at least for the next little stretch of game, I'm going to be trying the lines like this. Schwartz, Trocheck, and Tarasenko, the second line of 2 years ago, now becomes the current third line, as all of them have dropped in overall and in performance. A little less ice time, a little less pressure, and now we can let the kids move up. They can develop and become those parts of the team for the next decade, as opposed to we lose them and Schwartz, Tarasenko, etc. to age, and then these guys not developing, and we just get all new guys in there. We don't need to look for all new guys. We have our future now. So that's what we'll be doing on the forward front. The defense has been a little tough. Jiricek -1, Pulock +6, Miller and Bear have been great, +15, +8, and not too bad in the points department. Kozlov +7, and Shillington at +8 on that third unit, on that third pair. Hayden Fleury still around, -2 though in 9 games as our depth defender. Ryan Suzuki. Here's the thing, I can just trade Ryan Suzuki. We're thinking, well, if Gambrel gets injured, who's the guy that goes in there? Well, Popov is a centerman. He could just slot in, and then Cole Lind goes on the wing. So I think we're at a point where Suzuki can go, and Cole Lind will just be the full-time 13th forward. He has not played a game yet this season, but he's an original Seattle Kraken. He's played 244 games with us, scoring 69 points. He's been a very serviceable bottom 6 player for us, so I'd be happy to make him the depth guy, and then we can just fully move on from Suzuki, probably even Fleury as well. The defense, though, in the system, man, we are packed. We have Sloan and Mateychuk at 78, 76 respectively. Lundberg and Kobasu 76 and 75. Tiny Morrison down in the QMJHL is 78 overall at 20 years of age. I checked earlier. So, I don't know, maybe Mateychuk's the odd man out. We drafted him because we wanted to have strong defense moving forward, not knowing that Kozlov, Sloan, Lundberg, Kobasu would all be joining the ranks in subsequent drafts. So Mateychuk at 76 overall at the age of 22, maybe he becomes a piece that we move before we just trade him for a random pick in 3 or 4 years because he never made the NHL. I'm going to start thinking about some trade possibilities, but of course, let's get back to the comments first. So something else that we had been thinking a lot about were different players on the trade blocks. There was some talk about Jacob Chychrun, there was some talk about Sidney Crosby over on the struggling Pittsburgh Penguins, and Aiden, a big Crosby fan, we can already guess what he's going to say. Get Sid the Adult in a Kraken jersey. Scout him again just to be sure that's where he really fits. But if we do end up going for him, maybe a Suzuki, Fleury, and a pick or prospect. You know, if we're looking to offload those players, give them new life on the Penguins, ship them off to the Eastern Conference, and we get a very good player down the stretch for the playoffs who can be, whatever, a full-time third liner with special teams, something like that, for a guy who's on the edge of retirement on a failing team. I think it would make sense. I didn't think Crosby would make sense at the beginning of the season, but the more we think about it, maybe. I also like Dostal. We're talking about Lucas Dostal, 84 overall goalie on the New York Islanders. Maybe run with Murray until the deadline, and if a goaltending change is needed, I would pick him up. Murray is only halfway through season 1 of a 2-year deal. We'll give him some more opportunity, but we'll see what's going on by the deadline. Don't want to jump the gun on him yet. I also like Chychrun, but he'd probably cost too much, and he's signed long-term, which could affect the defensive prospects. I'm not sure how long Pulock is signed for. I believe it is 4 years, so yes, 4 years. But a package like Pulock plus a prospect wouldn't be bad. I did check out the trade value. It would probably cost Pulock, Mateychuk, and by the way, I hear a lot of people say Pulock, but I've always said Pulock, so correct me if I'm wrong. So Pulock, Mateychuk, and like a couple of third-round picks would probably get it done for Jake Chychrun. Later on in the comment, if we did trade for Chychrun, then we just slot him in Pulock's spot. Thanks for the videos. The series is fantastic, and it brightens up my day. Sorry for the essay. No need to apologize. Thank you for the kind words, and thank you for those suggestions. That's the type of information we got to see from the assistant GMs if we're going to go for a three-peat. Let's go get 3. Thanks a lot, Aiden. Concerning all these trades, Jack says, I don't think we need to make a trade just for the sake of making one. There was not a guy on the trading block that I was like, wow, you gotta get this guy. These are just some guys that could improve the team if we're thinking of making a trade. From the Coyotes, a Chychrun deal would not be a bad idea. I think moving Pulock and a mid-tier prospect or a couple of low tiers would be ideal, but don't overpay for him. Like I said, it would be Pulock, Matejchuk, and a couple of picks. The team is good. You got a great farm system. Don't throw it into the blender. Good prospect on the Sabres, and Dostal might be a move just to have a solid backup, but we shouldn't be giving up too much for him. So again, we'll keep that in mind later on. We're only halfway through the season, and sometimes a team / a couple guys just start slow, so don't feel like you have to make a trade just to make one. Thank you for that, Jack. Nolan's in agreement with a lot of the others about the goalie situation. Give Murray until the deadline to get his numbers up. If he falls below 890, Dostal can become target number 1. We have the room in the goalie department. Since Primo has proven not to be quite NHL caliber, and Blatter, an AHL goalie with medium league potential, is not really, well, I'd even just go so far to say whether he grows or not, he's not going to be ready for the next few years. Also, I agree with you, Data. I really don't think a deadline move for a top 4D is necessary. Offense is where the holes are. Shipping off Suzuki or Fleury, maybe even Plus, should be enough to fill whichever gap we decide is most urgent. Thank you very much, Nolan. And finishing off here with Tic Tac, probably one of my favorite comments. Just, I wish I could play the music if it wasn't copyright. Just think of that 90s Bulls music when MJ was coming onto the court, and that's what was playing when Kyle Wood came out to make his NHL debut last episode. Oh my goodness, Kyle Wood is here. Thank you, Tic Tac. Alright, so all that being said, we're thinking about some ideas. We don't want to go too crazy just yet. We'll make the line changes, but we're going to, in the back of our heads, we know Chychrun, Crosby, Dostal, these are all ideas for us if things continue the way they are. But with all the explanations I made to these line changes, I think we should be able to weather the storm. I did make some special team changes last episode. The penalty kill got fixed up a little bit, so hopefully that will also improve our, I believe we're the second worst penalty kill in the NHL. So with all that in mind, we'll continue simulating forward, but the leash is getting shorter the closer we get to the deadline. Now in January 12th, we're taking on the Hurricanes at home. They're 18-18-1. We're 23-14-4. 4-5-1 in our last 10. The Hurricanes 3-6-1 in their last 10. Line changes are made. We had a little bit of a few day break there. Let's get back into things at home. First period, no scoring, 13-5 the shots in our favor. Second period, no scoring, shots 21-17 in our favor. 0-0 after 40. Power play for the Hurricanes early in the third. We kill that off. Special teams, there we go. That's what we need from the penalty killers. We're starting to reacquire the gap that we had in the first period. 28-19 the shots now. Under 5 minutes to go, and this game is still scoreless. 2 minutes left now. Final minute, and we're headed to overtime. Shots 32-24 in our favor. In overtime now, 3-on-3 action. Will there be a hero? And it's for the Hurricanes as Sebastian Aho scores on Murray. 34 save shutout for whoever's on the Hurricanes. 25 saves for Murray. That's a tough break right there. Nedeljkovic making 34 saves for the shutout. That's too bad. The scoring has to come through when Murray is putting up a shutout. That's really too bad. The scoring, man, boy. That's why I don't want to make big changes, because these are the players I want to have. I just want them to develop, I guess, more quickly. But you can't rush art, you know what they say. Let's get back to the calendar here. We'll move into the month of February against a Pacific Division rival. We'll see how things are looking by then. Let's give it a little bit of a chance to breathe a little before we start making drastic changes. 4-2 loss against the Red Wings. 7-3 loss against the Ducks. Oh my goodness, that cushion is not gonna... Okay, and then out of nowhere, a 3-0 shutout. All right, against the Bruins. How about that for a win? I'm not sure who is in nets, likely Murray, but that's a great turnaround after a few tough L's in a row there. In Vancouver, Lauzon and Erik Karlsson for Slavkovsky in a second. I'll pass. In Vancouver against the Canucks, 6-2 win. That's a huge win against a divisional rival. Dallas Stars, we lose 4-2 against them. Mackenzie Weegar and Kale Clegg for Lunenburg and Piper. I will pass. Back-to-back coming up here against the Penguins and the Stars once more. Penguins are 19-9. They beat us 6-4, and then we beat the Stars 4-1, thank goodness. LA Kings, Hronek, Brodin, and Clifton. A lot of defense on the block this year. LA Kings, couldn't see what the result was there. We'll take a pause, and it was a 5-1 loss. I might want to stop here against the Coyotes. Actually, I'll do one more to make it an even 10 games since we made these changes. in Arizona against the Coyotes. Jameson Reese injured knee in the AHL. It was a 5-3 win. So that means in the 10 games since we made those changes, we are 4-5-1, bringing our record to a total of 27, 19, and 5. I'm curious how many goals Moss has now after 10 games on the second line. He had 13 goals before that, and now finds himself with 14. He had 1 goal in 10 games. My goodness. I'm going to try Popov on the second line. If Moss is still not getting it, then I'm going to have to move him down. But let's go Popov. Rosen's moving down. Unfortunate. 2 goals, 12 assists for him. -9. Let me see, where are some of the holes here? Tuck improved a little bit here as he now has 37 points. So he got, what, 9 points in the last 10 games? 37 and 51 now. Plus minuses in the middle 6 and the bottom 6 have not been good at all. It's fine. I don't know. Maybe bringing in Sid the Kid would not be a bad idea here. Then he can play first line. Tuck moves down to the second line. Then Gambrel can move out. Popov goes center. Something like that. I'm trying to think of some different ideas. Yurchek moved up to a 0. Pulak up to a +8. Miller down to a +11. Bear down to a +2. Yeah, the plus minuses have not been ideal. Matt Murray at an .894 save percentage, 3.06 against, and Caden Primo 874 save percentage. Yeah. All right, okay. Let me see how Sid the Kid's looking over here. We don't need to wait necessarily till the deadline. Man, I'm really tempted to go Crosby and Chychrun in one big trade day. They're not they're 21, 20, and 9. Maybe Sid's going to stick around and try to go on a cup run here. Not a cup run, but at least a playoff run with Connor Bedard. Oh, man. He has 45 points. No, Crosby does not make sense right now. The Coyotes, they're 19, 27, and 3. Chychrun would make sense right now. But Pulak has been one of our better defenders. So, man, doesn't make sense. I think the answer right now is just line changes then. We'll keep the personnel as is. Popov up to the second line will probably be the only change we do for the forwards. Yeah, might move around Moss in the very near future. Might just go Miller and Yurchek, swap them up. Miller to play with Pulak and Yurchek to play with Bear. Let's try that and keep simulating forward. Again, not quite time for the trades yet. We're taking on the Predators now in the second of this home and home. The Predators are 2-6-2 in their last 10. We are 4-5-1, and we lose 5-2. This is really hard right now. We're back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, and we are not really living up to that at all. Just looking in the AHL over here, Asher Maloney with more than an assist per game, 66 points, new career high in the AHL, only 51 games played. So Asher Maloney, who did not have great preseasons the last couple years with 1 point in 9 games, maybe he's pushing for the NHL right now, and if we need some playmaking, maybe he's the guy that we try out somewhere in that middle 6 on the wing. I don't know, but just keep that in mind. I'm going to give Popov the chance now. We lose 5-2 against the Predators, but now we're going to go against the Kings, who are 30, 20, and 3. 8-2-0 in their last 10. We're 27, 20, and 5. I know we're probably not going to be catching the Kings unless, well, we're only 3 wins behind. Yeah, you know what? Positive vibes only. Positive vibes only. First period, and we're down 4-1. Beautiful. Caden Primo gets pulled after letting in 3 goals in 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Zaka, Konechny, Dano, Byfield. Shillington scores for us to stop the bleeding. Shots are tied at 13. We're down 4-1. Second period now. Okay! Trocheck, McKinnon, and Tarasenko 30 seconds apart, and then a minute and 20 seconds later? All right. The third line scores twice. Our top scorer scores once. Shots now 28-24 in our favor, and this game's tied at 4. 5-4 with Zaka's second of the ninth. But Isaiah Marco comes right back to tie it up at 5. 30 goals on 56, 10 goals on 56 shots, excuse me. This game's tied at 5. And Nathan McKinnon, his second of the night, puts us ahead. Our first lead of the game, 6-5, power play killed off by the Kings. We're out shooting them 36-30 with under 5 to go now. Up by 1 in a barn burner here. 1 minute left. Can we hang on tight? What a victory. Game-winning goal to Nate McKinnon. Wow, after a tough first period. 2 goals and 2 assists for him. A goal and 3 assists for Isaiah Marco. Zaka got second star of the night with a couple of goals and an assist. But we take it 6-5 the final in regulation. That's a huge win. Because that's a interesting one because we allow 5. The goaltending absolutely fell apart. but we scored 6. That's what we want to be seeing. Support from the scoring. Now, I don't know what's up with Moss. I know I haven't been seeing any goals from him the last 2-3 games. I haven't given him a ton of opportunity. Still only 14 goals, 8 assists. I don't know. I'm gonna try moving him down. I don't know if Schwartz or Tarasenko would be better. Schwartz has 13 goals and 20 assists. Tarasenko 12 and 20. It's better for the chemistry. Let's go Schwartz, Beniers, Popov for the +3. Moss, Trocheck, Tarasenko for the +2. And see what happens there. We'll keep the defense as is. Matt Murray gets the start next game because Primo has just been horrendous. 862 save percentage. I think, actually, you know what? I'm calling up Ben Bishop. I'm calling up Big Ben at the age of 40. That's 76 overall. He has not played in the NHL since the Stanley Cup clinching game when he got robbed of the Conn Smythe. Let's do it. I'm going to send down, I'm going to call up Ben Bishop and send down Caden Primo. I doubt he gets claimed on waivers, and no, he does not. Ben Bishop, you're our new backup for the next month because Primo, I tried to do it for you, but that 3 goals in 4 minutes and 15 seconds or whatever, 5 minutes, that was just brutal. Ben Bishop, welcome back to the NHL, my friend. And in the AHL, it'll be Blatter with Primo. He did well in the AHL, so maybe he can regain some confidence down there. All right, so let's hop ahead a couple of weeks now. In the next couple of weeks, we're playing Buffalo, who are 36-16-2, and we'll pause against the Maple Leafs, who are 33-15, and something I saw there as the deadline will be a couple of weeks after that. That's where we can probably think about what kind of moves will happen. 6-5 shootout loss to the Blackhawks there, unfortunately, and then a 7-1 loss. Great, allowing 13 plus 5, 18 goals in 3 games, and we lose 5-4, allowing 23 goals. Okay, then a 3-2 shootout win, thank goodness. Looking for win number 30 here against the Rangers. Hayek and a third for a second, a third, and Helpert. No, thank you. 6-1 loss against the Rangers. This has been absolutely horrendous. 5-4 shootout loss. What is happening in Seattle? It's time for the trades. It is time for the trades, my friends. I tried doing what I could. I'm still going to hold to Pat's comment for sure, where I'm not just going to play the veterans and forsake the youth, but it's time to make some moves here. The second line's been terrible, -16 now. Beniers, despite having 55 points. McKinnon and Marco have been great. Tuck's been good. Tarasenko 37, Schwartz 37. Trocheck. Moss, now he has 17 goals, so he's scoring on the third line at least. Popov 24, Mercer, Gambrell 10 points, -9, Shillington +5, Kozlov only a +1. Maybe moving on from Shillington wouldn't be a bad idea because we already know he's not coming back next season. 9 points +5 is not bad, but if he's not coming back, trading him is not horrible. Matt Murray is 14, 13, and 4 with 1 shutout. And Ben Bishop is 0-1-0 with a .958 save percentage, 1.35 goals against. All right, Bishop's in net moving forward. And it's time to look into what's up with the Coyotes. Because maybe we can swing it where we don't trade Ryan Pulock and we move someone like him or K'Andre Miller in the offseason. Because we know for sure we definitely can't have that many good defensemen in the NHL at the beginning of next year. So Jacob Chychrun, let me see what I can swing. So what's wild is that while I'm looking for a trade here, I just realized Pasi Lume, who we drafted, 5th round last year, 5th round, is already 78 overall with low elite potential at the age of 20. He'll be pushing for the NHL next season. That's another prospect we have to think about making room for. It's just crazy. So I think a guy like Vesa Heiskanen won't be making the NHL at this point. I don't know. It's just so many players. Here's a trade I'm thinking about. We give a roster spot of Shillington, couple prospects in Matejchuk and Slavkovsky, a 2nd and a 4th on a Stanley Cup winning team. Not bad at all. I'd even give up the 1st. For Jacob Chychrun, 5 more years, 4 years after this one at 6.765. Not a bad contract. He's been a lifer with the Coyotes. Very strong defensively, but tough plus minuses because of the team that he's on. But he's always good for in the 30s of points around. Has the X factors. Fits all defensive pairs, which is what I love the most. He's only on deep pairing 2. Maybe, the team's been horrible. He's had barely any playoff experience. He wants out. In the real world, he's probably on the outs as well. It makes sense for us to acquire him. We throw in Kevin Stenlund for the roster spot. Would the Coyotes be interested in this trade? And keep in mind that in making it, we'll definitely have to move away from one of Pulock or Miller or someone else, but definitely Pulock or Miller before the beginning of next season because guys like Sloan and Lundberg will be pushing to make the NHL. Arizona, what do you say to this? Quite far off in value. Doesn't make the block particularly well. All right, so that's where I'm going to move up to a first-round pick. I don't typically like trading my first-round pick, but we have such a strong pool of prospects. That's what Stanley Cup contending teams will do. So I'll throw in the first. It's a lot of value, though, so maybe I can take something back next season if you have any of your late picks. Yeah, see if I can take a 4th and a 5th back next season. What do you say to this, Arizona? They would accept that. So let's see if we can play around with some more. How about a 4th and a 5th next year, and then a 4th the year after that? What do you think about this? Quite close to fair value. So I'll take out the 5th next year, and I'll make it, whatever, a 7th next year to be nice. So a 4th and a 7th next year, and then a 4th a year after that for Slavkovsky, Shillington, Matejchuk, and a first-round pick. Arizona, thank you very much. Happy to accept this proposal on behalf of the Arizona Coyotes. We consider it a done deal. Jake Chychrun, he is done in Arizona. Welcome to Seattle, Bello. Let's really bolster this defense. We're going to get Peyton Wilm back. Looking forward to seeing how the lines will look now, especially with this defenseman who supposedly fits all lines. I'm very interested to see that. Kozlov will get a very strong defenseman with him down on the 3rd pair, whoever it is. But Jake Chychrun, please fit these lines. He is a left defenseman, 87 overall, and he fits the 1st and 3rd pair perfectly with a very high fit on the 2nd pair as well. So let's go Chychrun and Pulak on the 1st pair. We'll go Jiricek, Bear on the 2nd, and then Miller, Kozlov on the 3rd. Let's try that out for now and see what happens. No chemistry pluses or bonuses, whatever, but I think we're okay with having a lineup like that. I'm going to go ahead and slot him in on some special teams right now, and then we'll get back into simulation. All right, so all those line changes are done. The NHL has been put on notice. The Seattle Kraken will not go gentle into the night. They are looking to contend for a Stanley Cup once more. So Oliver Shillington, thank you for your service here with the Kraken. Matejchuk, man, really wanted him to work out. I would have loved to have him in the system. He was a fan favorite as well. I can't remember exactly who commented, but someone commented saying that they, I think, went to high school with Matejchuk, so they really wanted him to be drafted. So really tried my best to make that happen for the storyline, but it's just with so many good prospects falling in our laps, he wouldn't have made it. He would have fizzled out. Now we're giving him new life on the Coyotes, and we wish him all the best over there. I'm going to fix up the AHL lines as well, and then we'll really get back into simulation. All right, so that's all done now. Just looking one last time as a farewell here to Matejchuk. He was our 3rd ever first-round pick. We had 3 first-round picks in 2022. We took him 23rd overall, 86 offensive awareness, but his numbers were a bit odd. 2.5-star puck skills, 3-star defense, wasn't great at the shot blocking, wasn't the strongest skater, or even really physical for 6 feet tall. He, in the AHL, played in parts of 3 seasons, basically 2 full seasons, and then all 58 games so far in this AHL season. Good for 30 to 40 points per year. Really hope he does well in the Coyotes, but just like I said, it wasn't going to work here. Slavkovsky, we didn't have him very long, as we picked him up from free agency, yeah, and when he only played parts of 58 games, no, what am I saying, 3 years. Wow, time flies. He was also on his 3rd season with the team, going for career highs in the AHL, so it makes sense why he would have trade value and why he would be a desirable target for the Coyotes. So we're going to think about other moves later on, Suzuki, Fleury at the deadline, but Jake Chychrun is in the lineup. He'll be a fixture here in Seattle for years to come. Instantly becomes our top defender on the team. We could definitely need him, use him, because we're at home against the 36-18-5 Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's not going to be an easy one, and the points are starting to really matter. We're 3-5-2 in our last 10, looking for win number 30. First period, 1-0 Seattle, Vinny Trocheck on the power play. Second period, now 3-0, Isaiah Marco on the power play, and Ethan Bear, even strength. We're outshooting them 28-16, almost double, and it's 3-0 Kraken headed into the 3rd period. Very, very nice. It's almost crazy to think, okay, there's Greenway scoring there. It's crazy to think that, and the Jiricek, thank you, 4-1, and 5-1, Alex Tuch, okay, thank you very much. It's crazy to think that if we can have this defense, now add in Peyton Wilm, this is a scary team. Yes, we've had some struggles. Is it all up to Matt Murray? How much of it was the defense? I don't know. But we just beat a very good Toronto Maple Leafs team as Beniers added another 6-2, allowing 29 goals on 31 shots, and I think the defense definitely played a part in this one. Jake Chychrun, it's hard to see. There's no really advanced analytics or anything like that, but if I could just see the plus minuses maybe. +1. He played almost 27 minutes, Jake Chychrun, so he definitely had a role out there. +1, 3 hits. It doesn't even tell me anything about block shots or anything, but I think we can say that Jake Chychrun definitely had an impact on this one. 3 stars, Tuck a goal and 2 assists. Bear and Marco both with a goal and an assist. And we take down the Maple Leafs 6-2 for win number 30 on the year. We definitely needed that one. Peyton Wilm will be back just around the corner now. Let's keep simming closer to the deadline, as we have another week or so until we're going to have to start making make those final decisions. That is Ty Smith and a third for Lundberg and Hilpert. I will pass. The Jets, we beat them 5-2 with win number 31 right there. Peyton Wilm has returned to the lineup. I should have played Ben Bishop nonstop there. Can I send down Ryan Suzuki or something? Or he would have to go through waivers. Moss, Kozlov, Popov. So we'll just send down Bishop because he won't get claimed off of waivers. It's Murray will continue to start, but Wilm will be the backup. And it's a bit of a risk because the EA system might put him in if Murray gets pulled or something, and he could re-aggravate the injury. But he's about to be fully healed, and I don't want to have to mess up the whole lines or risk somebody else going on waivers just for that. So Murray can continue to play a little bit right here, taking on the Washington Capitals. Weegar, no, I'm not going to do that. 29, 25, and 7 are the Capitals. We beat them 2-1. The Lightning are a very good team. Peyton Wilm fully healed, thank goodness. Mini heart attack. Continue, and we beat them 7-2. All right, so that's a 4-game winning streak since we made that change, and we never allowed more than 2 goals per game. After we allowed 5, 6, 7, 5, 2, 6, 5 over that little stretch there, we go 2-2-1-2 since those changes. Peyton Wilm's back to full health. I don't want to simulate this game because then it'll put us into the deadline and mess up all the lines. So now is where we'll make the deal for Ryan Suzuki and Hayden Fleury. The question is, how are the Penguins doing? If I go to their conference here, their division, they are 27, 24, and 10 and fighting for that wild card. So I don't think Crosby makes sense, but I will check all of the trade blocks around the league myself just to do my due diligence. All right, so I've gone through all the blocks, and there's a lot of interesting players, but oftentimes it's just the player is too good or the team is too good to trade that player. So I don't think anything really makes sense that 82 to 84 overall range of 1 year left on a bad team, nothing really lines up. So the more I think about it, maybe we'll just hang on to Hayden Fleury, since not bad to have him as a 7th defenseman and then just let him walk next season. But it's really Ryan Suzuki, the guy that we want to trade, because we already have the depth. We don't need to have him there. Plus, he's just kind of wasting away, and he does have some trade value. So when we go to the trade finder, we're just going to look at taking back picks for him. We don't really have anything in mind. Gambrel's been okay, and like I said, if he moves out, we bring in Cole Lind. So 27 different trades. Let me see which one looks best. There's a Chara on the Bruins. That's funny. And the best offer seems to be coming from the Carolina Hurricanes, the team that we got him from originally, for 2 third-round picks. Our own third this year and their third next year. We already have a bunch of mid picks, and we gave up our first. So I wouldn't mind trying to do something like, here's our third and Suzuki, and try to take back a second. Something like, we have a bunch of fourths, a bunch of fifths. So I'm going to try throwing in a fourth of our own because we're going to have a lot of prospects on this team. Let me see what kind of deal I can swing with the Hurricanes. I'm going to see if they want to give us their 2nd and their 7th next year in exchange for our 4th this year, and they get back Ryan Suzuki, who they drafted in the first round, 28th overall, back in 2019. Suzuki has played his entire NHL career with us. He has 2 Stanley Cup rings, 65 points in 172 games, playoffs 20 points in 45 games. He's been very good for us, but moving forward, I don't think he's going to be that third-line center that we had hoped he would be. He never really got there. His highest was, 31-point season last year. Not bad at all. But I don't think he's quite going to be there at that third-line role unless he had really big growth this year. Wasn't seeing it. Hasn't gotten a lot of ice time. Let's let him thrive somewhere else. On a strong team, no less. Carolina, what do you say to this? Trade accepted. Thank you very much. We get a 2nd-round pick added to our system, and I'm sure that both Ryan Suzuki and the Hurricanes organization are happy. So now this year we have a 2nd, a 3rd, 2 4ths, 3 5ths, a 6th, and 2 7ths. Next year we have a 1st, 2 2nds, a 3rd, 2 4ths, a 5th, a 6th, and 3 7ths. The draft situation is looking great. We can use those picks for ourselves or for other reasons. We'll keep Hayden Fleury on the squad, and I think we're ready to keep on moving to the end of the year. While we're at it, I might consider sending out an extension offer to Isaiah Marco. He would want 13.950 for 8 years. 85% of that is 11.85. If we go down to 7 years, he wants 13.675. 85% becomes 11.62. So it's going to cost a lot to get him for sure. He's 22 years of age. He's coming off of his ELC. He's 92 overall. We'll still have over 10 million of cap space to get Wilm and everybody else. But I think we definitely have to pay up for Isaiah Marco. It's not going to get much cheaper than this. We could wait until July, wait him out, try to really nickel and dime him. But I think it would just be a good idea to try to get this settled ASAP if he is interested in signing an 8-year deal for 85%. So 8 years at 11.875 for Isaiah Marco. If he's happy to sign that, we will go ahead and offer it. You know, he's not really interested in an extension, but I'll consider it and get back to you shortly. Thank you very much. Only other person I want to send an extension to potentially would be Peyton Wilm, who right now wants $8 million for 1 year and way too much for more than that. I'm not going to be offering him a big contract like that just yet, especially coming off that injury, very injury prone. I'm okay with waiting and qualifying him. That's what the original idea was with Isaiah Marco, but his demands have come down. He wanted like 17 million for 8 years before, so I can deal with 11 point whatever. The Kings are 33-26-4. We're 33-23-7. Last game before the deadline. Let's see if we can keep up our winning streak as well. First period, 1-0, Isaac Roseyan. Second period, 3-0, Marco on the power play and Tuck on the power play. Okay. 3-0 Kraken. Power play early in the third period. An extended power play opportunity for us in the first 5 minutes. Nothing coming from that. Outshooting the Kings 28-19. Another power play and Vinny Trocheck gets this one. And then Ryan Pulock. Okay, 5-0. And then Roseyan 6-0. His second of the night. We are firing on all cylinders since making that Chychrun trade. 6-0. Final moments. Kaliev breaks the shutout for Matt Murray. He allows one goal on 21 shots. We outshoot the Kings 38-21 and take it 6-1 the final. 3 stars. Roseyan with a couple goals. Mercer with 3 apples. All right. And Alex Tuck a goal and an assist for him. 6-1 Kraken. Win streak extended to 5. Now the trade deadline is upon us. I'm very excited to see the game against the Oilers, actually. They're 8-1-1 in their last 10. They're above the Pacific Division. They're atop the Pacific Division and 42-13-5 on the year. We'll sim through the trade deadline and we'll see any big moves made around the league. Tampa putting Patrick Hornquist on waivers. He's still playing. 2 years left even on his contract. 40 years of age, 78 overall. If he was an expiring contract, I would pick him up, I think, but we'll go ahead and decline that. Hey, Isaiah Marco, an easy decision to decide to renew my contract with you. I appreciate that you chose to offer me the type of money that I feel I am worth, so I decided to re-sign. All right, 8 more years of Isaiah Marco until the age of 30. For our first round pick of a few years ago. He has been amazing on this team, and he will be a fixture, a pillar of Seattle moving forward. Fantastic. Let's check out some of the other trades that happened around the NHL. You can see some of the trades here without me going through each one. The Ducks got Matthew Boldy and a fourth for a third, and Hinostroza and Moros there from the Ducks. So Matthew Boldy going to Anaheim's a big one. Kasperi Kapanen going to the Kings for a second, and Dallas Conacher. Roslovic Kachuk and a fourth going to St. Louis from Minnesota. Chalowski a fourth and a fifth to Montreal. Garland a sixth and a seventh to Nashville for a second, and Adam Lowry. Barrett Hayton to the Devils, basically for Thatcher Demko. That's a good trade there because Demko, the 87 overall backup to Philip Gustafson, makes sense that he goes to a team that really needs him. Toffoli, Hagen, Barbashev to the Flyers from the Golden Knights. Sam Reinhart, Arturi Lehkonen to the Lightning from the Flames. Rasmus Anderson and Elias Lindholm going to Boston from the Flames. My goodness, that's just about it. So since we made that Jake Chychrun trade, we are on a 5-game winning streak, and it's going to be a huge test here against the Edmonton Oilers. They're way above us in the standings. I don't think we'll catch them for first spot in the Pacific. They're 42-14-5 on the year. Let's see. This will be a real good test for us, taking on the Oilers at home at Climate Pledge Arena. Let's hit it. First period action, 0-0 shots, 21-4. Wow. I'm not sure the last time I ever saw that. 21 shots in the first period. Woo. Okay. Second period, 1-1 game. Ethan Bear opens up the scoring on Freddie Anderson, and Broberg scores on Peyton Wilm in his first game back. He has faced 39 shots through 40 minutes, a shot per minute. 38 saves on 39 shots for Wilm, 10 saves on 11 shots for Freddie Anderson, and we're tied at 1 after 40. Close to being quadrupled in the shots. Wow, here comes a big third period, 40-14. Now we're starting to come back a very tiny bit, but I don't think we'll quite catch up. 43-17. Okay, we're getting back there, halfway through the third now. Are we going to hit 20 shots anytime soon before they hit 50 maybe? Final 5 minutes now, 45-19, and Scott Laughton scores the second of the night. Definitely makes sense. Can we have some late heroics perhaps in the final seconds? No. Shots 49-23. Wow, what an offensive team. You know what? I'm proud of the defense I'm proud of Peyton Wilm making 47 saves on 49 shots. That's first star honors in my books right there. Yeah, 47 saves for him. Broberg, the game winner, and Freddie Anderson, 22 saves. Actually, game winner went to Scott Laughton. Wow. Great night for Peyton Wilm, but we got to find a way to get more offense generated, not get bombarded and allow 50 shots a night. By the way, a single game franchise record for most saves in one game with 47 for Peyton Wilm. So the win streak comes to an end, but understandably so against such a good team. We got to learn to break through them if we're going to go to another Stanley Cup victory. Maybe we'll see them in the playoffs. That being said, let's continue simulating. Actually, let's go see them again in a couple of weeks. I'd like to see a rematch. 3-1 loss against the Predators. 4-3, okay, no problem. Shootout loss against the Canucks. 4-2 win against the Jets. Very nice. Calgary Flames now are here in Western Canada. 25-39-6. We beat them narrowly 2-1. Dallas Stars 34-23-11. We beat them 4-2, 3-game winning streak. Playing Calgary again now in Calgary, 5-2 victory. That's 4 in a row. 5 in a row with a 6-1 win against the Sharks. And we're once again facing Edmonton on a 5-game winning streak. We're looking for win number 40. They are 46-16-6. What a record for them, but we want our 40th win in Edmonton. After losing 2-1 last time, we learned our lessons. Let's generate some offense and come through. First period, 1-0. Okay, and the shots are 13-12 in our favor. Matty Benier is putting us ahead after 20. Second period now, and it's 1-1. Darnell Nurse tying it up on Matt Murray, who's in nets tonight. Shots 22-17 for Edmonton as they took the lead after 40. We're coming back in the shot category now, and it's a strong third period, but Leon Draisaitl puts Edmonton ahead, and then Peyton Krebs scores a power play goal to make it 3-1. But Nathan MacKinnon says, we're not done yet, 3-2, with an even strength goal from him halfway through the third. Power play opportunity for Seattle, but it's Leon Draisaitl scoring just as that expires. Down by 2, down by 3. Draisaitl Krebs, and then Draisaitl Krebs again, and Krebs once more for a third period hat trick as Matt Murray allows 6 goals on 35 shots, and we lose 6-2 the final. I might make Ben Bishop the full-time backup. Krebs the hat trick, Draisaitl 2 goals. That was a brutal third period right there. Edmonton's a very strong team, and once again our 5-game winning streak is over. Okay, moving forward, I'm gonna do exactly that. I'm gonna bring up Ben Bishop, and he's gonna act as our backup. So I'm gonna go ahead and risk putting Murray through waivers. If we lose him, then we get someone new for next season. He has an .887 save percentage, 3.28 goals against average. Murray's going down, Bishop's coming up. If we lose him, so be it. I'm not going to put somebody else on waivers. And he is not claimed, so he will go down to the AHL for the remainder of the season, most likely, because Ben Bishop, welcome back to full-time NHL minutes, my friend. The old tandem of Wilm and Bishop is back together. Wilm now 23, no longer the rookie. Bishop now 40 years of age, and he'll finish off the season as backup, and who knows, maybe more as we head into the playoffs. But that'll be the one more change we make, because Matt Murray has just been horrendous. I know it was Edmonton, but it wasn't just Edmonton. With numbers like that, after a bigger, quite a large sample size, we can't afford to have him losing us games when we're barely second over the Ducks right now. Speaking of the Ducks, we'll go see them in a couple of games because that's a huge matchup in the Pacific Division. Vegas Golden Knights in Vegas taking them on. We lose 4-3, and then we play them at home a couple days after that. Still looking for win number 40, and there it is with a 3-2 victory. We're 40-27-8. They're 37-27-10. And in the Pacific, we are 4 points ahead, but they have a game in hand. So this would be a big 2-point game against Anaheim as we're just wrapping up this season now. First period, 1-0. Vladimir Tarasenko, the captain, still has life. Second period, no scoring, shots 28-16 in our favor, up by 1. I'd love to see some more, maybe from, hold on, power play Anaheim, we kill that off. Maybe some, hold on, power play Anaheim again, we kill it off once more. There's the penalty killing. I'd love to see a Chris Moss goal. 36-24 for the shots now with just a few minutes left in this one. 2 minutes to go, 1 minute to go. That's a huge 26-save shutout for Peyton Wilm, I believe. Yeah, no, it's Ben Bishop! What? This man is immortal! 26-save shutout in his first start in like 2 years. John Gibson first star, but who cares? Bishop, at 40 years of age, gets another shutout, registering another shutout, one of the older ones in NHL history, I would guess. Game-winning goal to the captain, Vladimir Tarasenko. That is vintage Seattle Kraken hockey. Father Time, Ben Bishop, getting the shutout. Wow! 41, 27, and 8, our record now, with 90 points, 6 points clear of the Ducks. They have a game in hand. Let's just go towards the end of the year. We'll get the last game against the Minnesota Wild. Wow! You just absolutely love to see that. What a monster. Predators, tough matchup there. We beat them 5-3. Arizona Coyotes coming up. Chychrun's old team. We're playing them at home. Senators fire their head coach towards the end of the year here. We beat them 7-4. LA Kings, tough matchup at home once again. We lose 2-1 in overtime this time. In Colorado to take on the Avalanche. We beat them 3-2, and then a 2-1 shootout loss against, a shootout victory 2-1 against the Chicago Blackhawks. Of course, we have clinched the playoffs, looking at the Pacific here. And yes, we have clinched second spot as well. But we'd love to hit 100 points if possible. Looking for win number 46 in Minnesota. They are 33, 35, and 13 at the XL Energy Center. One last game to end it off here before getting into the playoff picture. First period, 2-1. Marco opened up the scoring. Power play goal from Joel Eriksson Ek on Ben Bishop, former Minnesota Wild legend in the NHL 21 series. And Tarasenko getting another one for us. 18-5, the shots in our favor through 20. Second period, 3-3. Vickers and Hall putting them ahead. Then Tarasenko, second of the night. The captain ties it back up. Is this his final regular season game with the Kraken? I don't know. But he's fighting hard. 3-3 game headed into the third period. Power play goal from Vickers, his second of the night. We're down 4-3. 4 goals on 15 shots against Bishop. Makes sense, though. Give Wilm the night off for the last game of the year. Bishop, it's okay, buddy. You've done such a good job this year. It's okay to give up 4 on 15, but we got to support him. And there it is, Popov. Support the man. 35 shots on net. We finally break through with our 4th goal past Vitek Vanacek. Are we headed to overtime? Yes, we are. Shots 36-24 in our favor. 3-on-3 overtime, and Eriksson Ek wins it. But at least we pushed it to overtime. Tarasenko with a couple goals. He did what he could. The captain fought hard. A couple more regular season goals in the history books for Vladimir Tarasenko. And we will end the season with a record of 45, 27, and 10. I'm going to pause now. We'll go ahead a couple days, make sure the entire league is wrapped up. I'll send out the scouts, make sure their reports are up to date, and we'll take a look at the team and player standings. All right, scouts are sent out, and in the end, the Edmonton Oilers won the President's Trophy with 119 points, going 56, 19, and 7, so it makes sense why we had so much trouble against them. We finished second in the Pacific, but 8th in the NHL overall, as the Eastern Conference was crazy. We were the 3rd best team in the West. 100 points, 45, 27, and 10 was our record. 3.29 goals for per game, which was 4th highest in the NHL. 2.99 against per game, though, which was a bit high. Went down in the last stretch there, but still a bit high overall. 19.9% on the power play for 5th best in the league. And the penalty kill, drum roll please, went up to 82%, so from 77.7 to 82. Not bad at all. Still could have been a lot better, and still closer to the bottom than the top, but I will take 82 over 77. So good stuff there in the team stats. Now moving to the player stats. Nathan MacKinnon once again hitting triple digits. A 100-point season for Nate the Great here. Just back-to-back, actually. So back-to-back 100-plus point seasons. Scaled back on the goal scoring, but still consistent in the assists. 35 goals and 65 assists from him. A plus 27. Not shooting as highly as he did last season, but still getting 25 power play points and doing all the right things. He is a huge part of this team, and we wouldn't be able to be where we are without him. Isaiah Marco did not go point per game, scoring 79 in 82. Bit of a step back from last year when he scored 44 goals and 92 points. Maybe it has to do with the lines not, like Alex Tuch not being as hot as he was. Maybe. Matty Beniers as second line center put up 78 points in 82 games. His second full year as second line center. More goals but less assists, I guess, with not the same line mates or the same line mates not at the same ability. ability level, perhaps, but did very well in the power play. Alex Tuch, 60 points in 82 games for us. Last year, just with us, he scored 46 in 60, so about that same pace. A full season scoring 25 goals, very nice from him. Jaden Schwartz, 57 in 82 at the age of 34. For sure a step, actually, same amount of points as last season. So with him having a reduced amount of ice time, he was shooting at a higher percentage. He was throwing the body around. Well, is that like a career high in penalty minutes? 27. Most since 2013-14, his sophomore season. He was throwing the body around, getting penalties left and right. Vinny Trocheck, 52 points in 82 games, likely his last season for us as well. Stepping up from last season, back-to-back third-line center seasons for him. Vitaly Popov in the end, 37 points in 82 games, scoring 29 assists. Was a good playmaker, and I think next season will be a big step for him as well. This year, only had 24 games last year, was coming off a good playoffs, saw some weird ice time, but 37 points in the end, not horrible. Jake Chychrun, now this one I'm very interested to see. How did he do with us? 11 points and a +9 in 23 games. What a pace. Fantastic. Very well done from Chychrun. He hit 300 career points as well. 2 of his 3 goals were game winners. What a monster. Jakob Chychrun. Love to see that he's settling in here in Seattle. Moss ended with 18 goals and 33 points in his rookie season. Not too shabby at all. Dawson Mercer, 14 goals and 31 points. -14. He'll definitely have an increased role in the team next season. Ethan Bear, 12 goals and 25 points with a +1. Keandre Miller, 24 points and a +16. That's very nice. Might move the defensive pairs around for the playoffs. Roseyan, 24 points and a -12 in the end as his ice time was reduced as he was moved to the 4th line. But again, increased role next season. Dylan Gambrell, 64 games as our 4th line center, scored 22 points and was a -7. Pulak, 20 points and a +17. Yurchek, 16 points, only a +1. Bit of a step back defensively and offensively from last season. A career low in points, actually, of 16 and in goals and in pretty much everything except for penalty minutes at 46. Not a great year from him, despite averaging over 23 minutes a night. Kozlov in his sophomore season, 5 goals, 10 points, and a +10 through 76 games played. Still an 80 overall, but very well done. And Hayden Fleury still there as our depth. Goaltending-wise, now Peyton Wilm went 23, 10, and 4 with 1 shutout, a .910 save percentage, and 2.60 goals against average. Ben Bishop came into 6 games, saw 114 shots, went 2-2-1 with a shutout, of course, .912 save percentage, 2.15 goals against average. In the end, Caden Primo in the NHL, we know that his numbers weren't great. Can't see Murray's numbers, but I think it was, .887 save percentage. Tough times there, but Peyton Wilm back to full health. We'll be looking for vintage Hollywood Wilm and Ben Bishop in the upcoming playoffs. Looking at the entire NHL now. Leading the NHL in points this season was Leon Draisaitl with 113. Makes sense on that Edmonton team. McDavid right behind him with 111. McKinnon was 4th in league points with 100. Austin Matthews, I'm pretty sure that's a Rocket Richard season with 64 goals. Patty Kane puts up 57 goals at the age of 38. Ovechkin scores 46 goals, if this menu could stop jumping, at the age of 41. That's the thing. It might be the most goals I've seen from Ovechkin at that age. He always produces late into his career, but a 46-goal season, that is very impressive stuff from him. Leon Draisaitl, though, will be the winner of the Art Ross. Defensively, 71 points from Adam Boqvist, 70 from Owen Power, created player, obviously. Heiskanen, 65, Shabbat, Makar, McAvoy, Riley, Hamilton, Pionk down the list there. Rookie skaters, Calder this season likely going to Cole Walton. 36 goals and 67 points for the 18th overall pick in 2023. Wow. Playmaker, scoring 36 goals. Schmidt here, Sebastian Schmidt. Joseph Crosby, Atu Ratti making the NHL from being drafted in 2021. Rookie goalies, anybody out here who might be looking for the Calder as well? Bednar, wow, Jan Bednar played 60 games. What? 81 overall, and he went 35, 20, and 3 with 5 shutouts. Fantastic numbers. What? I could definitely see him winning the Calder. Rarely goes to goalies in the game, but I could definitely see him winning that. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen with Bishop's face. Okay, fantastic. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen with the most wins at 43. Georgiev with 37. He played in 71 games. What? Minimum, let's say, minimum of 40 games. Best save percentage in the league goes to Bednar, 922. Might win the Vezina and the Calder. It was at first since Did Steve Mason do that in 2009? If not, then the last one would be what, Ken Dryden? But wow, 2.48 goals against for Olivier Rodrigue. I could see him being up there as well. But Bednar, what a year for him with the Red Wings. Just taking a look at some other players that we're interested in, of course, we have the Coyotes trade. Oliver Shillington, he was a great pickup in the Alex Tuch trade. He was a throw-in. He ended up being a big piece of our blue line, got a Stanley Cup ring. He scored 9 points in 26 games. What he did with us in 57, 4 goals was a -3, but I'm sure he had increased ice time. Yeah, deep pairing 1. Very well done. I'm glad he's thriving over there, and I doubt Matejchuk got any NHL minutes. Yes, actually, 1 game in the NHL was a -1 with 9 minutes of ice time. And even Slavkovsky became a regular. 6 points in 22 games was a -2. All right, made his NHL debut with the Coyotes there as well. Good for him. Last player we got to see, of course, is Gus the Bus. Philip Gustafson with the New Jersey Devils. Signed there in free agency to a crazy contract. He went 23, 32, and 7. 2 shutouts, 904 save percentage, 2.91 goals against average, still an 89 overall, and still signed for 6 more years at $12.225 million. Wow. The Devils starting to see through him a little bit, maybe. I don't know. So we'll go ahead and start wrapping up there. We just want to see who our opponent will be in round number 1 of the 2027 postseason. We will be taking on the Anaheim Ducks. Okay, so the Ducks went 44, 28, and 10. Basically, we had 1 more win and they had 1 more loss. They finished the year 7-3-0. We were 6-2-2. I think we're yet to see the Ducks in the playoffs, despite being in the same division and always making the playoffs every year. This will be the first time we take them on. So, of course, Trevor Zegras on as first-line centerman. Some other great pieces. They have 87 overall Jamie Drysdale, and they have 87 overall John Gibson. We'll do a deep dive on their roster next episode when we begin the playoffs. But that is just about it, my friends. Seattle Kraken once again in the postseason for a 6th straight year, looking for the three-peat. It's not going to be easy. A lot of tough teams out there. Our players are getting older. Do we change up the lines for the playoffs, bring up Schwartz and Tarasenko? Do we keep the lines as they were, though? Because we had a fantastic record down the stretch since we picked up Jake Chychrun. We have Peyton Hollywood Wilm back in the lineup. Do we change up the defensive pairs? I was thinking maybe swapping Jiricek and Miller. Let me know your thoughts on that. But aside from that, Wilm is the starting. Bishop's backing up. He'll be there for support. Hayden Fleury and Cole Lind as the extras. I think we're ready for the postseason. Pulock and Chychrun have a +1 now. They didn't before. Okay. And that is all. Next episode, we'll also make sure to check out the progress reports and things like that because we have some crazy prospects who are growing. Morrison and that Finnish prospect. Maloney still has an 80 overall. Finished the year with 92 points and 70 assists, so keep a call up for him in mind as well. Other good performances from Bergenheim, Heiskanen, Kovanov in the AHL regular season. Sloan, Kobasu. I didn't get a chance to look at AHL stats, but just to say 53 points in 82 games for Sloan. The guys we really want to know about. Kobasu grew to a 76. He had 36 points. And Kalle Lundberg, who was our 31st overall selection, 19 years of age, scoring 41 points in 82 games. If you want to know more about anybody else, feel free to leave a comment and I will get back to you. Rickard Bergenheim, we love seeing some of him. 63 points and 30 goals. He'll be pushing for the NHL next season. 19 years of age, 22nd overall pick in 2026. And that is really all now. So thank you for taking the time to watch. Be sure to leave your comments heading into the 2027 postseason down here in the YouTube comments or over in the Discord server. Link for that is in the description. We are back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, defending our back-to-back titles, and looking for the three-peat. Definitely the last season, unless something crazy happens for Schwartz and Trocheck. Maybe one of the last years for Tarasenko. We're not sure. We're definitely moving on from one of these defensemen as well, whether it be, I don't know, Pulock or Miller or who. But this team will not be the same, suffice to say, at the beginning of 2027-28. So I'll need all your thoughts from the assistant GMs down here in the comments. If you enjoyed this end of the season, it was a strong push. Be sure to leave a like. And if you aren't already subscribed, be sure to do that as well because you'll be made aware of all the uploads here on the channel as well, which includes our NHL 22 franchise mode, FIFA 22 career mode, and the current series that I'm working on, the redrafts of certain classes, the forwards, defense, or goalies of a certain class of an NHL draft class. I already did the forwards of the 2009 class. Coming up next will be a defensive class. Won't tell you what year just yet, but that'll be coming out next week. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're subscribed. And once again, thank you for taking the time to watch and being a part of the series. And looking forward to seeing you in the 2027 playoffs as we push for a 3rd consecutive championship.